We're a residential redevelopment company. We focus mainly on Bergen County. We do a little bit of northern Passaic County. A couple of the areas that we deal in mostly are going to be Bergenfield, Dumont, the New Milford area. We'll do some properties there where basic fix and flips, you know, kind of the cosmetic stuff, if you will. We also focus on Ridgewood, Glen Rock, Wyckoff, kind of Midland Park area as well. In those areas, we'll do add-a levels, additions, add bathrooms, and add a little more value like that. All right, so a little bit about us. My background is actually in the medical device industry as well. I was in sales and marketing for many, many years, mostly managing people in a sales capacity. I got started in real estate mainly to build wealth for my family and just kind of build a nest egg, something that I can be proud of. And it kind of ballooned from there. Tom has about 200 years experience. So working with him has helped me kind of take off in my career. So now, obviously, we're active investors. I'm also a real estate agent and still currently a landlord and consider myself, just like Doug, to be an entrepreneur. I kind of handle the acquisition side, the sales and marketing side, a lot of the business systems, you know, scaling our business, putting things in place to help us really automate a lot of the things that we do, a lot of the technology stuff. Although when you see my video, you might question that. And I also do a lot of the designing and planning because I am sort of the target market that we try to sell homes to. So.
I'm Tom. And firstly, I would just want to point out, Kurt, my son-in-law, put this PowerPoint production together. And notice the professional headshot that he picked for himself and the picture of me at a fortune builder boot camp taken with somebody's cell phone.
I actually had one with him in the bathroom. It was really uncomfortable, so I decided
Just saying.
not to go with it.
Anyway, I did my first flip back in 1976. Most of my career was spent in residential real estate sales. I owned several RE/MAX franchises in the Bergen County area, sold them about 5 years ago, and just revved up the rehabbing business. And we got started, really revved it up with getting together with fortune builders about 2 or 3 years ago. That's how we met John and got into this great group here. But I do a lot of the contractor daily management properties, taking care of a lot of private investing as well, and the design and planning of the properties that we both really take care of.
He fancies himself the designer, but we'll argue about that later. All right, so the project we're going to tell you about is a Coles Avenue project in Hackensack. The reason we picked this one is because it was an interesting acquisition strategy, and the way that we financed the deal, we actually did pretty well on it as well. So I think that's a good thing.
You know, my 90-year-old mother...
Who's who here? I don't know. If anybody knows that movie reference, that's pretty funny. Come on.
My 90-year-old mother actually gave us this lead. She really doesn't understand why anybody else doesn't do business with me because I'm, just such a wonderful kid. But you never know where your business is going to come from. But this was actually one of my mom's friends who was in a nursing home. The property had been vacant for about 1.5 years, and she got us together with the daughter of the owner who was actually taking care of this gal's finances. And we got together at a meeting to see if we can help them out, give them a couple of options, and help them through the process of what do we do with this house now that Mom is not coming back to this house anymore. Place was vacant, hadn't been updated in probably 50 years. Properties just deteriorate when they're left vacant, and this one was deteriorating quite rapidly. There was no mortgage on the property, so that made it good for us. The seller's daughter was really handling her finances. Her son was involved in banking and in New York City, so he was involved. There was another brother in Florida that we talked to, so there was a whole host of people that we had to... All real estate experts. Yeah, everybody was an expert. That we had to deal with key decision-making on that property. One of the nice things that we did here is that we were able to do owner financing with this, with $10,000 down. Seller held a $130,000 mortgage at 7%. And we basically just talked to them about how could you earn a little bit more money when you sold this property to us. And that worked out rather well.
It did. It was a little painful because explaining this to her was challenging to say the least, but it ended up working out. All right, so scope of work summary. I won't bore you with all the details and numbers here, but essentially it was a full gut renovation. It was a really old home, so we had to replace a lot of stuff there. Some stuff we had planned for, other stuff we unfortunately did not plan for. We had to open up a couple walls. It was very closed in the old style home. We like to create an open floor plan where you can kind of see through to the living room and to the dining room from the kitchen. We updated the kitchen and the main bath. We added a bathroom downstairs because there was only one small bathroom in the house. We had to do entire plumbing, electric, HVAC. There was some knob and tube, an old Federal Pacific service panel, electric panel, for those of you that are familiar with that. Not a good thing. We added 2-zone HVAC, did a lot of landscaping, and painted the house. Basically a full gut renovation. Going into the deal, we had an initial ARV of $299. We like to be very conservative. We had estimated the repairs at $69,000. All right, so now we have a video. Where's John? Bedtiming. So going back to those technical skills, and I handle the IT department, I'm probably going to call Chris pretty soon because A, my slideshow's terrible, and B, I didn't put it in the PowerPoint presentation correctly, so I apologize for that. Yeah, the music's terrible.
There you go.
Thank you.
You can talk over it if you want.
All right, so it's pretty self-explanatory. If you know, Tom, if you have anything to add, we'll just have before and after. There was a little bit. Yeah.
Get out of the way.
There's a little bit of clutter, as you can see. We had to help her remove that throughout the process, and that was one of the challenges. But ultimately, paid dividends. You know, laundry from 20 years ago. We replaced the hardwood floors. There was actually a bunch of damage, so we had to replace them. We typically would refinish it in a house like this. We took this wall out, if I can figure out how to. Yeah, I'll show you in a second here. So this wall here we opened up. There's a wall here to the dining and kitchen that we took out as well.
Right.
Yeah, thank you. Added crown molding, did a lot of molding work.
Took the chimney down too.
Yeah, we had to take a chimney down and remove that wall. So you're looking now from the kitchen into the dining room. This is the kitchen. Pretty nice. And that's what we turned it into.
Over the winter when the house was vacant, there was a flood upstairs, so we helped them through the insurance issue too. But one of the nice things that the insurance company did was demoed the whole kitchen for us, so that actually worked out good.
They were going to put it back. We were like, no.
Please don't.
It's good. It's good.
Keep the money, seller.
It worked out for the seller. The seller pocketed some money, and obviously we got free demo. Win-win. We had to rearrange the bathroom a little bit because it was very small. This is the 6x10 master.
This house was just under 1,000 square feet.
Yeah, very small. So that's why we had to add the bathroom in the basement. We had anywhere else to put it. I should speed up the slides a little bit next time. So
This was the basement.
Oil.
We actually had to put in a new basement floor.
Entire floor. What's that? Yeah, no.
Now, you
We'll
know
get to that.
we do a lot of times with the older houses with low ceilings. We've just now spray painted that ceiling and left it a little bit more of an industrial look, we like to call it, and it doesn't bring that ceiling down, and it tends to sell very well.
Yeah, we just spray paint it. We kind of go with that New York vibe, which is our target market on resale. So a little bit about the executive summary, just some of the financial details of the deal. From close to the time we ended up closing on the sales side, it was about 5 months, which is pretty typical of a project of this size for us, anywhere from, say, 4 to 6. We went to market at $325. I'd originally told you that $299 was our ARV. In the time we held the property, a couple additional properties sold for a little bit higher, like $330, $340. So I felt like going a little bit more aggressive at that point. Our original purchase of $140. Again, I won't go through every detail here. If you have questions specific to the deal, I can handle it. But we ended up at $68,000 in rehab costs. We actually took a couple things out, but then had a couple surprises that brought us back to that number of 69 that we talked about. Our total cost basis was $242,619. We stole a couple things from John. We'll give him some credit here. He does a great job. If you guys went to that event that he had where he had us out to Plainfield to see that property, and then he had an open house strategically after it.
Piscataway.
What's that? Piscataway, details. we really liked that because he kind of created demand and created a frenzy when everyone showed up at the property. So we stole the idea and did it. We also do a delayed open house. So combining those two concepts, with the pick your neighbor, we invited the neighborhood over. Our open house was extremely busy. We ended up getting, I think 5 offers the first day, that day after the open house. We ended up with 8 total. So we went to market at 325. We were able to negotiate out the 345 with very tight contingency windows, for a total net profit of 102,381. So. And I'll echo Gabe on this one. I mean, we definitely don't make 102,000 on all these deals, so we're not awesome in any way, shape, or form other than what you guys would do too. But we're proud of this one because on a bigger project, you would expect to make 100,000 on a small one like this. We thought 50 or 60. So.
Oh, challenges. Well, we had multiple decision makers in this particular aspect that we had to deal with. There was an oil tank on this property too, which we graciously had removed before we closed on that property with the seller's permission, and we found out that the seller had oil tank insurance, so we would rather do that before we closed than after we closed, and actually the seller paid for half of that. But we handled all of the work there. Old home, old problems, lots of problems, foundations, main beam, non-tube wiring, 1 bathroom, very small house. So I think that those were some of the key challenges. We thought it was going to be a money pit at one point, but it really actually turned out to be a good deal for us.
And in words of wisdom, very quickly, buy it right. When you buy it at the right price, it can solve a lot of problems and a lot of mistakes.
You know what? You need to talk to everybody involved in this deal, and I have to tell you that we use a lot of people in this room. We've gotten a lot of benefit. Bob the Bugman does all of our, and in fact, he was very instrumental in keeping this deal closed at the very last minute when the buyer's attorney wanted to do an invasive inspection by removing some walls for some ridiculous termite thing. So we put Bob in touch with the buyer, smoothed it right out. We did the treatment and moved forward. But we've used Bob the Bugman. We've used
Jacqua from Professional Home Staging is actually staging one of our properties right now, which is why she's not here. It's pretty cool.
But we've also used Regal Kitchens, vendor from last year. They've done 4 or 5 of our kitchens. We found a hardwood floor guy in this room. Alpha Funding, although it didn't do this deal, we're working on with one of the properties that's just coming to market next week. So there's a lot of great information that we find in this particular room here.
Yeah, and I know we're running short on time, so we'll just kind of speed through it here, and if anybody has questions afterwards. But I think the last one I'd like to touch on is pay it forward. I know John's big on this. Kind of do the right things by the seller and by everyone that you're involved with along the way. Help people, and it comes back to you in spades, I believe at least.
Yeah, we help them with the insurance company, cleaning out the house, really hand-holding their deal. But I will tell you one thing. We got a little lax in nailing that deal down while we were helping them, feeling so comfortable there. A builder started circling this house and actually saw it while we were kind of hovering. So that really teaches us, nail down the contract, do your due diligence, and control the deal, because that was something that we almost learned the real hard way.
Thank you.